What's up, my people? Today, I want to introduce myself officially and tell you a little bit about myself. I want to tell you who I am, where I come from, what I do, and how I got here today. So let's go. Let's get started. My name is Billy Figueroa. I am a Dominican who was born in the Dominican Republic and migrated to the United States in 1990 when I was 8 years old. I am a software engineer who graduated from the State University of New York at New Paltz with a computer science degree. I have a mixed background when it comes to my experience. When I was a kid, I was actually artistic. I used to draw. I used to do things like X-Men, anime. And when I actually went to high school, I started to get into more drawing on the computer side of things, which is basically graphic design. I learned how to use programs like Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Quark Express, and even 3D programs like Poster and Bryce 3D. I ended up graduating from Art and Design High School in New York City with a graphic design degree before I went to college. Once I attended college in the State University of New Paltz at New York, I decided to major in computer science. I took a database course and I kind of fell in love with programming. I wanted to do something a little more serious than just graphic design because at the time, it was a very competitive field and you didn't necessarily need a degree to get a job in the field. So that's where computer programming came in and I decided to major in computer science. While I was attending college, I was also interested in still kind of playing around with HTML and CSS. So at the same time, I still had my artistic side of things where I was designing websites and actually just modifying websites that allowed you to be members. Back before we had things like Facebook and Instagram, there were other social platforms that people use, and those things allowed you to sort of paste some HTML code and CSS into the profiles and it would allow you to design your page. So I did that a lot. It kind of fed both the sides when it came to design as well as sort of programming. Even though HTML and CSS is not full-blown programming, it's still coding, you know what I mean? So that's something that I actually enjoyed and continue to do to this day. I graduated from New Paltz in 2005 with my computer science degree and graduated cum laude with a GPA of 3.5 something. I don't remember what it was. And I actually ended up landing a job with the big tech giant at the time of IBM. And I relocated to San Jose where I was working for IBM. I was working for IBM for about 5 years. And in 2010, the company was going through some rough periods. And after 3 different waves of layoffs, I was finally affected and IBM laid me off. That was a very confusing time. At the time, I wasn't with my current wife. She had actually moved to New York a couple of months before that because we were going through some things. I had $2,000 in my bank account, so I had to figure out what to do. Shout out to my man Trey for letting me stay at his place while I was figuring all these things out. I ended up moving back home with my mom for about a year and a half where I finally got back on my feet and got a job and started to save up money and decided to move out where my journey actually started. After moving back to New York, I ended up getting a job at a financial software company by the name of Fidessa, where I met some of my friends that I'm still close to today. I worked at Fidessa for about 4.5 years, and I ended up quitting that job. Working in the financial industry is a very stressful job. I mean, it only makes sense. You're talking about millions of dollars in transactions per second, per day. So any little mistakes could cost clients millions of dollars, and it's just not an industry that I wanted to be in. To this day, I refuse to work in the financial industry again. It's just too stressful for me. Now, at the same time that I was doing this and I quit my job, my wife was hitting her stride and hitting her peak in her career. She was actually traveling overseas. My wife is a consultant. She works as a microbiologist and she travels the world taking on different jobs in different countries. So what I decided to do was at the time, me and her spoke about it and I actually started to travel with her. Now, while I was traveling with her, I decided to work on my portfolio and start to build my portfolio up because I wanted to get into freelancing or consulting. And I ended up starting work on a company that I'm actually a part of now, which is called Mint Grooming. While I was overseas with her, I would work on this full time, and now it's an actual app that's in the App Store. I'll leave the link in the description below so you guys can take a look at that. You guys will be able to see that I'm the author on that app. That was an amazing process to be able to do that, gain experience, and kind of work things from a ground up and be able to make all the decisions, things that would later on help me to land other jobs. Today, I'm a consultant working under my own LLC and adding things like YouTube as part of my portfolio to try to build a brand and just learn different skills that I can use Because I'm a consultant, especially on this tech channel, it allows me to expand some of the things that I'm buying to review on the channel. Things like my iMac Pro that I purchased, the camera that I'm recording this on, my phone, etc., etc. I will list some of the gear that I use in the comment section below. With regards to my age, I am 38 years old. Now that you guys know a little bit about me, I want to know what your story is. Leave some comments below. Let me know what your goals are and maybe what brought you to my channel. You can also ask me questions about my journey and how I got here. Well guys, that's it. I want to say thank you to those who are watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you are not new and you're already subscribed, please consider hitting the notification bell. For all of you guys out there, please share the video. Please like. It helps the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.